Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio, this is Northeast Georgia Business Radio presented by Regions Bank. Start building your financial confidence at Regions Bank. Member FDIC, an equal housing member. Welcome back, folks, to another exciting edition of Northeast Georgia Business Radio. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County. A big thank you to our new associate sponsor, Bottom Line Tax Solutions, for coming on board. A big thank you there. Now, I guess y'all want to meet your guests. We have yet another amazing guest. All my guests are amazing. But with me today, the founder of Little Red Acorn, Mr. Chris Greenwood. Chris, welcome to the Northeast studio.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
How are you, brother?
I've been doing good. Just staying busy, focusing on a lot of the new initiatives we have coming up, a lot of new events coming up.
You got events? You got events going on? I didn't know this. We do. Breaking story.
We do.
Nice.
I don't know how much I'm supposed to tell you, but yeah.
Oh, no, don't tell me. Not, at least not in the first 2 minutes of the episode. Right. We'll save that for the end, because if you tell them, they're going to click off.
Yeah, right off.
As much as I know they want to hear us, they'll click off.
Absolutely.
That's the way the audience is. You love them, they love you until they don't.
Right. Absolutely.
That's life, actually. Little Red Acorn.
Yep.
That's a nonprofit.
Yes, sir. 501c3 compliant.
You an official.
Yeah.
Per the government.
Absolutely. We got our stamp and everything.
Well, sometimes people come in and say, well, we're a not-for-profit.
Yeah.
And they're skirting.
Right.
But we will not go into that, because that's not why we're here.
Right.
Little Red Acorn, 501c3. Mm-hmm. You are the founder.
Absolutely. Yep.
Before we tell the folks what it is that you're doing, what you're cranking up, what's the significance of the name? Is there a significance of the name, Little Red Acorn?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we always start off with the joke answer, which was, we started up and then we went on the Georgia State website and took whatever was left.
Little Brown Acorn was taken.
Yeah, Little Brown Acorn. We looked at various names, because it's more or less education-based is how we started out. So you do the whole green apple thing for teacher stuff. And then we took a look and said, what are we actually doing here? And what we're doing is we're just planting seeds of inspiration for the not-so-popular career paths. For me, it's been more software, but less on the coding side, more on the operational side, which not a lot of people are familiar with, especially in high schools. It's all coding, engineering, and stuff like that. But more on the operational side. So that was my initial thought process. And then the more people I talked to, the more trades kept coming up. And I have experience in trades, worked with a local HVAC and plumbing company.
I was about to say, what do we consider trades?
Yeah. So trades, when I think of that, I think of things like plumbing, electrical, HVAC. My brother actually used to do windows and doors. Mm-hmm. So even in that realm, I would even bring in some of the they're not necessarily considered trades, or maybe not included all the time, but maybe like fencing companies, things like along those lines that are, I would consider, not as popular.
Well, it's you learn a skill.
Right.
And you make a living with it.
Right. Yep.
And sometimes you don't go into tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Absolutely. To learn that skill. Which, wow, that sounds good for everybody.
Yeah, I think the last 4-year college I looked at was online classes, it was roughly like $60,000 to get your degree from zero to the end.
Man, that ain't much if you say it fast.
Right.
So Little Red Acorn, you're planting seeds. And we all know from a little red acorn comes this giant oak tree.
Absolutely. And that's the seed we're planting. It's just that inspiration to inspire those kids or adults or whoever it happens to be into a career path that helps them grow. And oak trees are strong. They're good, solid trees, and that's what we're looking to produce with what we're doing.
So you're looking to build strong, solid communities.
Absolutely.
Workforces.
Yeah.
Nice.
And keep those pipelines, going. You want a steady stream of any industry you're in. You want a steady stream of a workforce. People constantly coming in.
Skilled workers, and if you don't have to train them, or shall I say, the less you have to train them, is better for everybody.
Yeah. And what I think a lot of...
As the business owner or manager.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want...
The organization, right.
Somebody to come on board as quickly as possible and start producing value for your company. Yep.
You cater to high school kids, adults?
So we're starting at high school. At the onset of Little Red Acorn, we did try some programs with middle schools. So I went into a couple of schools in Walton County and taught their class. I took over a computer science class for them and taught various exercises that were related to business analysis. We did something called the penny game. We did process improvement type stuff, just to kind of gauge interest. But what we found out is, especially from administration, they're like, this is an awesome program, but we feel like it's too early. 8th grade is too early.
Could be.
Because it's a long journey from 8th grade. They got 4 more years of stuff to consider. So we kind of started setting our sights a little later. And then when you start talking trades, trade schools are roughly, some of them are 11 weeks, some are 2 years, something like that, depending on what you go into.
Depending on the trade, yeah.
Yeah, so you really just need that last 2 years of high school, I think, is a good place to focus, is to pique that interest. That way their interest is super high right when they graduate, and they can go right in where they want to be and shorten that time from education to employment.
Makes sense. So you're looking to work with school systems,
yes,
at least at the beginning.
Yeah, even if it's more on a passive note. Just say, hey, you got career days coming up, let us come in there.
Well, I'm sure you would work with a private school as fast as you'd work with a public school.
Yeah. School is a school to me. Anybody that's willing to see the potential there.
Exactly.
And the good thing about Little Red Acorn is like we're not just saying, hey, come in and we're going to show you how to be a plumber. If you're letting us come during the day, most schools have a requirement of they only have so many guest speakers because it takes away from the normal curriculum.
Yeah, it's a system.
Yeah. And so what we try to do is we'll tailor a class to actually align with their current curriculum. So if they're learning a particular science, if we can take a plumbing science and show them how what they're learning now is actually applied in the plumbing trade or in the electrical trade,
that makes sense.
We will do that. Yeah, so we had some pretty good feedback from the 8th graders. We haven't been inside of a high school yet, but we do a lot of, they'll bring us in for careers. Walton County has a program which I know we're not in Walton County, but yeah.
It's okay. We're in Jackson County. We still like you, though.
Yeah.
We're very welcoming.
Right.
We really are.
Yeah. I happen to live in Walton, so it was convenient. That's the only reason why we focused there.
But don't worry, this podcast goes all over the world, to be honest with you.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome.
In a foreign dialect, Little Red Acorn can mean something totally different. I just warn you now, I'm not responsible.
Right.
You're a computer guy. Is that fair to say? That's fair to say.
Yeah. I've come through science. Oh, sorry, not science, but through software.
Software. Well, that is science.
Yeah.
At least it was at one time.
Yeah, all computer science, mostly on the operational side. So I do know some coding, but I haven't been the actual engineer.
Gotcha.
I'm more the one that's planning the product future, the product visions, process analysis, process improvement, like figuring out how to make our product better. So I'm constantly in that mode of observation.
So that part of the world comes easy to you. But now you're talking about educating in plumbing, I don't want to be putting words in your mouth, plumbing, electrical work, those kinds of trades.
Absolutely, yep.
Now, are you just that really smart, or are you farming out and you just have great partners to do it?
I do have great partners.
I imagine it's pretty important.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I can mention names.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe some sketchy folks. No, I'm kidding.
So I used to work for an HVAC/plumbing company. And in that time, I met a lovely gentleman named Greg Griffin, who went on, after he left that place of employment, went on to start Mastercraft Plumbing.
Mastercraft Plumbing.
Yeah. Amazing company. They've really been doing...
A great family.
Absolutely.
Great family.
Yep.
Long and short.
Yeah. And through Greg, I met his son, also named Chris. So Chris Griffin, and met him a long time ago. And then, we just kind of stayed in contact. Me and Greg were kind of a similar mind and always stayed in contact, remained friends. And so when Little Red Acorn was starting to kind of start to be birthed, I guess you could say, he was one of the first calls I made was to Greg. And Greg said, hey, talk to my son, Chris. And then what I realized is that Chris also had a similar passion specific to trades. How do we get a pipeline of a workforce coming through? How do we improve the quality of our workforces?
Yeah.
And still maintain that high level of quality for their customers. So we've been working together for the last year and a half, almost 2 years.
Awesome, man.
He's been working with the Trade Education Center as well, who we're partners with. And so it's just been a wonderful partnership between us two. And then, of course, Keith Dorton.
Who? I'm kidding.
Never heard of him.
Who?
He's the secretary of Little Red Acorn.
Is he really?
Absolutely.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Small world.
So he's been doing a good job. So I got Little Red Acorn off the ground, up and running, and then Keith's kind of been taking over the operational side, and I've been consulting him with the various complexities of running a nonprofit.
Gotcha. It's always super important to have great community partners. Folks, we're going to take a real quick break and get in one of ours real quick. We will be right back. But one of our great community partners is Winfield Realty Group. Randy Winfield and his team consistently provide a concierge, best-in-class personal level of service to their clients. First-time home buyer, relocation, selling, or buying your current home, Winfield Realty Group is ready to assist. And hey, let's face it, Randy Winfield is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I call him the concierge of class. You talk about pressure, the concierge class. But folks, visit WinfieldRealtyGroup.com today, and while you're at it, visit our new website here at Business RadioX, negabrx.com, negabrx.com, to see all our great community partners. Chris, you still there?
I am.
Good. Big thank you to Randy Winfield, our community partner. Great guy. Great guy. If you're looking to buy or sell a house around here, give Randy a call, seriously. Man, what were we talking about, though? We were talking about planting a little red acorn, and this massive oak tree comes out in, 10 years. I don't know. But seriously, you are giving, at least right now, young minds an opportunity to jump into or at least experience trade industries opportunities.
Absolutely, yes.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Maybe their school, maybe a private school, a public school doesn't quite offer that. Mm-hmm. And you're working with those organizations to provide this service, basically.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
That is so cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, I just wrapped it up, man. We'll get up here early. No, I'm kidding. I got to believe there's a need, or you wouldn't be doing this.
Yes, absolutely.
What is the issue? I've heard for years, supply chain. And honestly, I truly want to just put a bag over someone's head when they say supply chain. We're at 4 years past COVID, right?
Right.
What are the issues? And man, don't say supply. I'm kidding. What are the issues? Because there's issues, or you wouldn't be doing this.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely gaps. So I'm a process person. I'm an analysis person.
Okay.
So I just naturally look for gaps, look for ways to improve things.
Efficiency.
Absolutely.
I like efficiency.
And it's a blessing and a curse type thing. So you're sitting in line at McDonald's and you're like, oh, this could be done this way. We structured the line this way, or this person said this, or the menu is bigger, or any number of things like that. So that's what's going on in my brain while I'm trying to order a Big Mac. Yeah, I thought about this question quite a bit, and I was like, what does it really boil down to? And so I started thinking back, my high school years, my middle school years, what did that look like? What were we being marketed as job opportunities and things like that? I distinctly remember elementary school, the top 3 roles that when they went around the class saying, what do you want to do when you grow up? It was doctor, it was lawyer. It was, for some reason, all the girls liked marine biology for some reason. It was
wow. It must have been a thing at that moment.
Yeah, it was like the dolphin thing.
It must have been. That was the fad at the time, yeah.
Save the dolphins kind of thing. But what never came up was, of course, the trades, but, janitor, lunch lady, things like that never came up. And they were just quickly dismissed as like a low-level, kind of a subpar career to get into. And they never really explained why. They just said, there's more opportunities in these other areas.
Right.
And so really it boils down to marketing and branding of the trades themselves. You think of TV shows and movies that you've seen a plumber show up in. What's the first thing that you see? And he comes in with a giant tool belt and all you see is, butt crack. Mm-hmm. Ha, 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 cheap laugh.
That's the running joke.
He goes in, he fixes the issue, or he comes back and says it's going to be X number of dollars. Enter the difficulty. The plot of the show is trying to come up with money for that particular service.
Of course.
Pun intended, I guess, make them the butt of the joke and just downplay that. And that's what I've seen ever since I can remember, is you're always downplaying these certain roles within the community. Mm-hmm. And that's what we wanted to change. How do you change that stereotype when movies and TVs are constantly putting that out there, that this is a subpar role to fill within your community? How do you combat that? And that's the thing that we want to address. And in fairness, you can't really change a stereotype as a whole. You can't get all the plumbing companies in a room and all the HVAC companies in a room and say, do better so that we can, make a better, get rid of this stereotype and make things better for us all. It really just starts with one company making that decision to do things better in a more high quality way that then creates this competition where other companies have to evolve or die, but in the good way, not running out of business kind of thing, but their quality needs to step up. The presence that they're bringing into the industry and into the community also needs to improve. And by doing that, eventually you create this competition where each one's creating this better environment for their technicians to go into, so the customers are absolutely happy. It's the difference between somebody showing up covered in poop from the last job,
right,
versus them showing up in a golf shirt, clean cut.
Well, sometimes perception is reality.
Absolutely, especially from the customer. If they had a bad time with your technician,
well, that's true.
They had a bad time.
They had a bad time's a bad time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It always gets me, though. You can say what you want about a plumber, even an electrician, Lord forbid an exterminator, but when they're retiring before they're 50 and driving $70,000, $80,000 pickup trucks, yeah, they're the butt of a joke, all right.
Right.
And they'll take that joke all day long.
All day long, absolutely.
Yeah. I know a few of those folks.
Yeah.
You do, too.
I do.
You do.
I do. Yeah, and that's what we're looking to change. Change that mindset that these roles are somehow less than, what a lawyer does.
You're talking more of the student who is going to partake in your classes, your education.
Right.
They're thinking, I don't want to be a plumber because I will be doomed for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
That's what you're trying to get.
Yeah.
Because they can retire before they're 50.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Totally.
Other industries have been doing it for ages. If you go to probably any high school now, you'll see advertisements for coding clubs or coding initiatives trying to get people into software.
Right.
And it's because these larger companies have figured out they also need a pipeline of work.
Oh, yeah.
And they need to fill it. So they're going to say, hey, you can get this high-paying job. Just do this, this, and this. And they feed it. It was fed into us, I think, even when we started college. Me and my brother went around the same time. Go get a computer networking degree, and you can come out making $60,000 a year. And that was almost 2 decades ago. So inflation's up a little bit on that one.
I think sometimes there's a glamour aspect of it. Well,
Yes.
I'm a doctor. Well,
Right.
I'm an attorney. And the wonderful professions, you work your tail off to get to that point. I don't know how much glamour there is on a guy that crawls in crawl spaces all day. I've been that guy.
Right.
And I did retire before I'm 50.
Yeah.
Right? There is no glamour.
There's no glamour in
But that's okay.
getting dirty. But yeah, that's okay.
That's okay.
Not
That's my
everyone
point.
can be a lawyer. Not everybody can be a doctor. Not everybody can do those types of roles. And really, in my mind, I was hoping to connect with those students that didn't know what they wanted to do.
That too.
They're not cut out for being a doctor because maybe the chemistry is too much for them. But they can do, a subset of that, or they have a different skill set. You have surgeons that go in and they do that tough work. But before that, you have an internist that does the diagnostic stuff that actually identifies what the underlying core issue is.
Right.
And that's different than a surgeon. Plumbing's, to me, similar, or electrical is similar. There's ways that you can, you have somebody that can build out a house electrical-wise, plumbing-wise, then you have another person that can troubleshoot, a leaky toilet. To me, it's two different skill sets.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You have those certain kids that can troubleshoot things or problem solve, which is a huge skill set that applies in most industries, to be honest. And that's what we're going for, those kids that don't know how the skills that they do have can be applied.
Now, are you going to be offering scholarships?
We will.
Yeah.
In fact, we're waiting on a good chance to make some pretty good announcements, but our goal this first year is at least about $5,000 in scholarships.
Cool.
Which is roughly half our budget for this first year. And we're hoping to go even higher.
Well, yeah.
We were doing some analysis, and we were like, why don't we just be awesome and run, a low operating budget with high scholarships coming off the back end. And for some of those students that are completing, a trade school program, we're also looking to offer starter tools. They're a plumber, you get, this set of tools with your name engraved on them, and that's yours to keep, kind of thing.
Cool.
We're looking for partners for that as well. And it's full and partial. So if you're going to a more expensive school or one that's a little more costly, we'll cover portions of that. But yeah, we have no limitation on which school, as long as it's a trade school and you're fully enrolled and accepted.
So what services are you offering at this point?
So we're offering a couple of different ones. So we have
And it's going to be expanding in time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So right now, Little Red Acorn is focused on getting funds. So most of the things that we're offering are geared towards getting those funds. So any service we offer, we're going to pay whoever's offering that service within Little Red Acorn part of that fee, but also we're going to designate that for the scholarships and the not materials, but equipment sponsorships as well.
Oh, that's materials.
Yeah.
All the above.
The current things we're offering is onboarding. So not everyone knows what onboarding is. Quick definition is you get a new employee that first week or two when they're first learning how to operate within your company, that's considered onboarding. They're learning all your important policies, your safety procedures.
Right.
They're getting their W-4s filled out. They're signing the employee manual, all those kind of things. What we can do is help you define that process for your new employees, standardize it. So every new employee goes to the same thing. There's no 3 months later, I didn't know that was a safety thing. They're like, well, you signed this paper saying you did know what that is, and you received the training for it. And we walked you through how to submit timesheets or how to submit quotes for or bids for jobs, things like that. We can work with you to define it, and then we can also perform that process for you. So you get a new employee, they just work with us. So you don't have to pull from your resource pool for this new employee that's doing, it's only valuable to them, and then it kind of reduces the company risk as well by getting them up to speed as quick as possible. So we would entertain that and do that for the company. So they don't have to pay their supervisors or anybody like that to spend that extra time to do that.
I know it goes deeper than that, though.
Yes. We also do trainings. Our board is made up of a lot of members from different industries, so there's a lot of insight on how to operate. Most recently, I came from an HR software company, so I picked up tons of great methods for HR, for problem management, just general HR concepts, like when do you need an HR rep, things like that.
The day you hire an employee.
Right.
Sorry. Maybe not that dramatic.
Yeah.
But it can be.
Unfortunately, they try and put that on whoever's doing accounting or whoever's in the office to perform the HR roles.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a totally different skill set, totally different industry, things like that. But it's those types of things that are out there that we can train. We may not tell you, be able to do all the HR stuff for you, but we can say, hey, in these cases, this is kind of the plan that you need to have. These are the policies you need to have in place, and help you define those. And then offer, like, you got a new supervisor coming in, but maybe he's only done the technical portion of the role before. So we can train him on how to interact with personnel, things like that, how to do conflict resolution, And in my experience, it used to be, you just fist fight. You have a problem, you go out in the back, fist fight on company time.
I'm of that generation, so I got no problem with that. All right, we've held them in suspense for 20 some odd minutes.
Yeah.
You're putting an event together.
We are.
And it's somewhat of a secret event. Well, not a secret event. The event, knowledge of the event is a secret at this point.
Yes.
So what can you tell me?
Of the limited knowledge, we can tell you the
limited knowledge. See, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Should have asked the computer guy. He would have known.
Right. So we have an event coming up. The acronym is HUGE, so HUGE, which stands for Help Understanding Growth and Expansion.
Nice.
And what we're looking to do is bring in the local trade groups, trade companies, anybody that's interested for a meal. We'll have food, we'll have a couple of activities kind of thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a panel of experts come up and make like 10 to 15 minute presentations, followed up by a Q&A session. So you can get your questions in, and then we'll make sure we get those answered by the end of that event. But we're looking at experts in the area of like finance, HR, marketing, government and public relations, and workforce development are our current topics right now. You'll get some great presentations on that. You'll get some great insights onto how to get your business set up to actually grow and scale. Because it's easy for businesses to grow sometimes. You get an influx of cash, now your business is growing, but have you scaled to absorb that growth and to maintain that growth in a way that's sustainable, that makes sense, that you're not just throwing money out the door as quickly as it's coming in. And that's what we'll be covering. So we have 2 possible dates at the moment.
We won't give those out.
Okay. We'll hold off on those.
We'll hold off.
Right.
We'll hold off on that.
Good deal. But yeah, just keep an eye out on our Facebook page, and we'll get to those contacts.
So that's how people get a hold of you? Social media?
Yes. Right now you can do 2 ways. You can either email us. So email us at trades@littleredacorn.org. Trades
at littleredacorn.org. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
If you're interested in sponsoring us, that's sponsors@littleredacorn.org.
Imagine that. Yeah. I hear you.
Super simple. And if you want to check us out or find us on Facebook, we are Little Red Acorn 2023, so 2023.
Because you're looking for all kinds of partners.
Yes.
You're looking for even donations.
Yes.
I imagine different services that you may not be offering quite yet.
Yeah, we
things like that.
We are open to any kind of custom donation that you may come up with. So, I mean, if you have equipment that you feel like might be of value to us, let's partner up. Let's see where we can use it. If nothing else, we can use it as part of like a raffle, as part of fundraising later on, or we can put your equipment to use.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. If you would like to give donations directly, we use GiveButter, which is givebutter.com, GIVEBUTTER.com. And then if you add a /little-red-acorn, you will find us. So
that's you.
That's us.
Well, Chris, good job, man.
Yeah.
Love what you're doing.
It's been a passion project for sure, and we absolutely love the community that we're building. So far, the meetings have gone well. The interest is high. So we're just looking for partners to put this into action and let the community start seeing that value.
You're based in Walton County. You're not just sticking to Walton County, though. You will spread in time to Northeast Georgia.
Yeah, we will definitely spread. I'm based out of Walton, but the Little Red Acorn actually just moved addresses. We are in Jefferson now.
You are in Jefferson.
Yeah, we are in Jefferson.
You're almost a Jackson County man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nothing
wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Well, brother, thanks for coming in. Love what you're doing. They're going to play. Wow, music was early today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. Folks, check them out on Facebook, social media. I think Little Red Acorn's on LinkedIn as well. Facebook and LinkedIn. Check out what the guys are doing.
Absolutely.
I'm Tom Sheldon. We'll talk to you soon.
Savings goals keeping you up at night? Let a Regions banker help you build a Regions Greenprint plan, a free financial roadmap personalized for what matters to you. Start building your financial confidence. Visit regions.com to find a branch near you. Regions Bank, member FDIC.